We have mapped the value chain from the input dealer through the producer, processor and trader up to the market. Such business relationships and partnerships between the actors in the rice value chain do not take off spontaneously, and that is why so-called business support services or BSS are brought on board. A BSS can be any public or private organization that provides support services to farmers or interlinked enterprises like processors and traders.
The maximum yields that we require as farmers.
In the Rising Rice film, the SMA speaks of support from the Ministry of Agriculture and from Oxfam, who trained them in parboiling and who designed parboiling vessels.
But the Food Research Institute designed these vessels for us through Ministry of Agri and Oxfam.
The project contracted trade aid to train farmers in technical aspects like efficient input use, but also in harvest and post-harvest practices to produce the quality paddy that was requested by SMA. But also facilitation, networking and brokering support was offered by trade aid to improve horizontal linkages among farmers within the RFC and to establish vertical linkages between RFC and SMA.
When we harvest it very dry, we really face problems here because our rice breaks when we...
Money is an important issue in the rice business, and therefore the bank NARA was brought on board. NARA has a branch office in Bolgatanga and provides credit to SMA so that farmers can be paid at the delivery of the paddy. Trade aid facilitated the establishment of the linkages between the bank, SMA and the RFC. With the certainty of SMA selling quality rice to schools involved in the governmental school feeding program, the bank is pretty sure of the reimbursement of the credit by SMA.
This is the role that trade aid has played as a facilitator, farmers group to single mothers, and then between single mothers and farmers to the bank, establishing confidence in us.
The actors around Bolgatanga that are involved in the quality rice business have a common agenda. They try to serve a specific market and remain there, or even increase their market share, which is the schools involved in the school feeding program. This group of local actors is called an agribusiness cluster, or ABC. The ABC comprises the local actors directly involved in the flow of goods through the value chain. These are SMA and RFC, but also supporting services which provide information, capacity strengthening and finance. These are the BSS, Trade Aid and the bank NARO. As for most businesses, there is always room for doing things better. And the role of the BSS is to empower the agribusiness clusters to improve their competitiveness and to support competitive strategic thinking and action at enterprise, chain and cluster levels. Competitive strategy is concerned with how the agribusiness cluster can remain in business and how to gain a sustainable competitive advantage over rivals. Competitiveness requires uniqueness, a unique product tailored to the needs of a specific market niche. In the case of the rice cluster in Bolgatanga, the high-quality parboiled branded jasmine rice is only partly in competition with the imported white rice. At least the SMA Bolgatanga rice clearly distinguishes from the imported white rice. Of course there is some price competition, as imported rice is sold at a lower price in the market. This means that any option to lower the cost of production and or processing will likely increase the competitiveness of Bolgatanga rice. Uniqueness is not enough. Competitive strategy is about coordination and competition that is needed and that drives innovation and change. The competitive playing fields and challenges in the case of this rice cluster are situated within the cluster itself and more specifically between the major actors of the cluster. Money, and more precisely cash, is the cause. SMA has to take a loan from the bank to pay the farmers with cash money at the delivery of the paddy. But SMA, on the other hand, is not paid cash by the schools at the delivery of the rice. It even often takes several months before they get paid, and thus the total amount of interest to be paid to the bank becomes a burden to the extent that SMA is reluctant to expand the business. SMA brought up the issue with the Rice Farmers Coalition RFC and suggested the option for the farmers to be paid partly once SMA got paid by the schools, so they would not have to take such big loans.
Will you agree, instead of us to be going to the bank, after the schools have paid us, we pay you?
But RFC seems to ignore the importance of this call. We can consider this as a kind of power-related competition inside the cluster. This competition can be a source of innovation, as SMA might look at alternative sources of paddy with farmers who would agree to deliver paddy on credit. But there might also be other ways of partly solving this issue by looking for alternative markets for high-quality SMA branded parboiled rice. And the BSS Trade Aid has already supported SMA in this sense by developing a publicity jingle to promote SMA rice with potential clients that can pay cash.
Where can I get this quality stoneless local rice, Brother Bombay?
It is produced by the Single Mothers Association with modern technology, and you can get to buy at the office in Zuarungu.
Shops in some of the major towns in the region could be reached to further promote SMA rice, and such shops might also be willing to provide some short-term pre-financing that would allow SMA to pay farmers with cash, and this would reduce SMA's dependency on loans from the bank.